Hello and welcome to a Week 17 edition of the EstablishTheRun.com NFL betting show. My name is Adam Levitan, as always joined by the king himself, Evan Silva, also joined by the man with no dick left from grinding projections so hard. It is Mark Dankenbring. Evan, good afternoon. Happy New Year. I hope you have big New Year's Eve plans. How's it going?
Yeah, man. Same to you. I hope you maybe drink 2 peach Snapples for New Year's. But no, I'm sitting here. I got a tall glass of milk. Are you guys milk drinkers
Come on.
at all?
Don't be
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I just had a bowl of cereal with some milk, so I'm
There you go,
I'm
man.
on
Yeah, it's
board.
got the vitamin D in it. Staying healthy, staying alive.
Mark back at his home base after a trip to the Natty. How's it going?
Yeah, doing better after a week at home. Caught the COVID, but feeling 100%. Humbled to be in the presence of the King GPP bro. Congrats, Adam. And yeah, let's excited for the show.
Yes, thank you. Two things before we get into it. Today's show, we're going to talk through the betting board a bit, make some of our usual 5,000 gold star, can't lose locks of the week. I also wanted to mention that, yes, as Mark mentioned, I am in the market for some good old-fashioned tax harvesting here. In other words, if you're a winner in DFS this year, the time to lose is not on Monday. It's not on Tuesday. The time to lose money is right now. And so a little bit of a free roll. I know people get confused a lot with the tax harvesting stuff on sports, but basically you get a little bit of a discount. It's not a full free bet. You get a little bit of discount if you go ahead and lose. So a little bit of a free roll. Give yourself a little bit more EV when you're betting if you're winning in DFS this year. Before we get into the show, I want to remind everyone NBA and NFL year-end sale we are running on both sports is about to expire tomorrow. Last chance to get in if you have not yet. Check out the subscribe page for each sport for details on the sales we're running for the new year. They will expire tomorrow, Friday. All right. Let's give Mark the honors here. First pick on the betting board. Mark, go ahead and blast off.
Yeah, appreciate it. So this one really popped out to me today. It's almost like a line that you see and it seems a little too good to be true. So it almost feels like a trap in the sports betting world, but I'm going to go with Raiders under 18.5 points. You can get it at even money on Fox. It's minus 105 on BetMGM and minus 110 on FanDuel. And just kind of at a high level, the Raiders have scored 17 points or fewer in 6 of their last 7 games. They placed Darren Waller on the COVID list on Wednesday. So the 5-day span would kind of rule him out for Sunday unless he tests negative twice. And he's also coming off an injury, so it wasn't guaranteed to play anyway. So they're going to trot out, the wide receiver trio of Renfro, Brian Edwards is back, and Zay Jones. And then obviously Deshaun Jackson there as the 4th wide receiver. Just kind of the state of the offense for the Raiders. Zay Jones has a 19.5% target share over his last 5 games. When you get close to 20%, that's a really solid target share. And obviously Zay Jones not very good. So they're going up against a Colts defense that's ninth in defensive DVOA. They just got Darius Leonard back. They're healthy. They're playing at home. I'm just not sure how the Raiders score 3 or 4 times here to get above this number. My only worry here is that with Wentz, potentially coming off the COVID list Sunday morning, that he throws like a pick 6 or something. Or just something goes awry where the Raiders get an easy touchdown like that. But overall, I think this is a really solid bet, especially at even money on Fox. So I like this Raiders under a decent amount.
Yeah, I mean, the Colts are going to try to run the ball a ton in this game. A ton. I think we have like a 24-25 projection for Jonathan Taylor carries in this game, which is just absolutely outrageous. They're going to try to run the ball a ton. I'm okay with it. I think some of these capable quarterbacks, you never know what can happen in garbage time with Derek Carr and stuff like that. Like, I think he's at least capable, but I definitely agree in a vacuum, certainly a tough spot for the Raiders offense. Evan, your first selection, 5,000 gold star lock of the week.
Yeah, well, it's also a tough spot for just the Raiders in general. The Colts are going to be getting back Quentin Nelson, Ryan Kelly, Mark Lewinsky came off the COVID list as well.
Mm-hmm.
The Raiders, I think they're 3 linebackers all went on the COVID list early in the week. One thing I'm going to look at adding to the update log this week is skill position players that are highlighting this. Skill position players that didn't practice all week and were pulled off the COVID list really late in the week.
Yep.
And just sort of, putting a little asterisk by them or, highlighting that about them, because we have seen most obviously with Tyreek Hill, it's a small sample still, but most obviously with Tyreek Hill, guys that didn't practice all week, were sick all week, and they come back and they're limited or not as productive as usual. So I think that that's something to take note of. Are you guys going to build that into projections at all?
That's tough for sure, but like I definitely think we should be careful with it. Like I lost so much money on the Myles Gaskin thing because I didn't think through like Myles Gaskin not practicing when he was on COVID. So yeah, I mean, I think it's important for sure, and we'll try to think through it. I think more guys are getting to practice this week, but like there's a situation with Mike Williams right now. He hasn't been activated yet. We'll see if and when he gets activated. But yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's worth mentioning in the update log for sure.
Cool.
Yeah, speaking to projections, I mean, it's hard. Like Allen Robinson, there's a story that came out that he lost 10 pounds and dealt with a pretty, decent case of COVID. And, at least he's back at practice. I think guys that miss practice all week or like come back for limited on Friday, we should be a little more hesitant with. But if guys came back Wednesday or Thursday, I'd probably feel a little bit more confident treating them closer to 100%.
I agree. All right. Back on topic. Eagles -3.5 at Washington. Washington just seems like a broken team right now. Ron Rivera is speaking publicly about using Taylor Heineke and Kyle Allen against Philadelphia. Their offensive line, I think, is going to be overmatched in the trenches against Philly's D up front. They can stick Darius Slay on Terry McLaurin, who really hasn't been doing much recently. They've struggled to get the ball to Terry McLaurin. I'm not sure about Antonio Gibson's health. Before it was the toe. Now he's showing up on the injury report with a hip injury. The D line is fighting on the sidelines in the second quarter. I don't know. I don't think Washington is going to like rise up here. I think that Philadelphia is a significantly superior team, and they have something to play for. Washington does not.
So as I'll say a couple of things here. As someone who has lived in both Washington and Philadelphia, the stadium on Sunday in Washington is going to be like 80-90% Eagles fans. Like Eagles fans are going down there. Eagles fans are going down there hard. They're going to be drinking their faces off and partying. Nobody wants to go support this Washington football team and Dan Snyder in Washington. It's going to be all Eagles fans there. The other thing I would say is that, I mean, Washington can still mathematically make the playoffs, but they would have to win out and get a ton of help. So I think I saw a stat there, like even if they win out, they're still only 21% to make the playoffs. Their current odds to make the playoffs something like 4%. So yeah, I think they can take it easy on Antonio Gibson here. A lot of their guys I think might want to be inclined to take it easy here as well. So as we get to the end of the year, there's like a lot of these factors going on that I think definitely do matter with teams in playoff positioning as we get to it. All right. I'm going to go with a weather take. And I don't normally give weather takes, but I'm going to go with a weather take here. And this is going to be in the Green Bay, Minnesota game. The high temperature in Green Bay on Sunday in the middle of the day is projected to be 13 degrees. The low is 0. And that's regular temperature, not wind chill. There is a lot of data about these extreme cold games, not 30 degrees, not 25 degrees. I'm talking extreme weather, under 10 degrees, close to 0, of limiting scoring in a big way, teams play calling changing. And so to see a line here with 0 degrees projected at night for Vikings Packers at 47, the total, seems like an awfully big number for me in a situation where I don't expect a very lot of passing due to the weather. So if the weather was good, I would think the line was about right. I think that given the weather, I think under 47 where you can get it, it looks like you can get it on FanDuel right now, under 47, I think makes a lot of sense. Shout out to me, King Meteorologist Bro. And shout out to Chris Allen, though, who actually I saw tweeted about this earlier as well, though, as someone who actually knows something about the weather.
Wow, just stealing Chris Allen's weather takes. I
mean. All right. We're only going to do 2 picks each today, so we'll go back around the horn one more time. Mark, go ahead.
Cool. So I don't love buying high on teams, and the Cowboys obviously just absolutely trounced the Washington football team on national TV. And they're playing host to the Cardinals this weekend. And overall, I brought this up before the show. It's a pretty ugly board this week. There's a lot of totals, below 40, a couple games with 14 points or higher spread. So, I want to pick one from an exciting game. So hopefully Dallas and Cardinals delivers, but I'm going to go Dallas -6 here. Evan mentioned it on the team by team pods that he thinks Dallas has the best defense in the NFL currently, and Football Outsiders agrees they are now the number 1 defense in DVOA. Arizona's offense is middle of the pack in DVOA. They're at 16th, so about league average. Obviously, they're down DeAndre Hopkins now as well. Zach Ertz got 13 targets this past game. When you're giving Zach Ertz 13 targets, that's not a great sign for your offensive environment. And then the Dallas offense is just humming. I mean, they're completely healthy pretty much everywhere outside of Tyron Smith. But I did see that Tyron Smith got in a limited practice yesterday. So hopefully he can come back this week. I think that will help, protect against Chandler Jones in this pass rush. But overall, I'm just buying Dallas here a decent amount. You guys mentioned as well, they can play for the number 1 overall seed in the NFC. So I think they're going to go for it this week. And then just, fully healthy offense with the wide receiver trio, Schultz, Zeke, Pollard, everyone looks good and healthy right now. So I'm going to go Dallas -6. And then I'm also going to be personally betting Arizona under 23.5 points on FanDuel. I think that's a little high for them just with their limited weaponry going up against this Dallas defense.
So we talked about the Cardinals offense, how they really have plateaued or even regressed. I would say regressed since earlier in the season. Yeah, they were humming, man, offensively. On the team by team podcast, we talked about that. To what would you attribute their regression offensively, besides obviously DeAndre Hopkins?
I don't know if it's a little bit of Kyler not being fully healthy with the ankle. He didn't run too much against the Lions and couldn't really get it going against the Colts. I don't have too much of an explanation other than just kind of personnel, and they lost Rondale Moore as well. I think teams kind of figure out these offenses as the season goes along. We've seen some downward trends with the Cardinals as well as the Rams. I don't know if that's correlated at all, just kind of with their offensive styles, the spread scheme. But I don't know. This is more personally for me a belief in the Dallas defense, I guess, than the Cardinals lacking offense.
I know what happened. You can only run hot when you're Cliff for so long, man. Cliff is a donkey, and now it's being exposed. Period. Anybody can get lucky, man. Anybody can go out there and win in a small sample, 1-5 weeks. Cliff has now been exposed. Without Kyler, he's dust. Easy game. And yeah, that's 23.5 seems like a lot of points for Cardinals to score here, considering the way they've played lately against this Dallas defense in Dallas. All right, Evan, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna fire on the Cardinals team total under myself. What do we got here? Oh, yeah, I feel like this one's a little trappy. Bengals Chiefs over 51, but I did finally hit an over last week on the Vikings Rams, and so we're gonna ride this hot streak and try to turn it into a 2-game winner. The Chiefs. So we know, in hindsight now, because Patrick Mahomes told us that Tyreek Hill was out there exhausted after he had like a legit little battle with COVID, didn't practice at all, only played 42% of the snaps last week. But I think he's going to be ready to roll here. Travis Kelce also came off the COVID list. He's going to end up with a full week of practice. He'll be ready to roll. The offensive line for Kansas City, we criticized it earlier in the year. It's really come together. And I think that actually might be the biggest explainer for why we've seen the Chiefs offense start to come alive lately after, a prolonged slump. And then, we saw what the Bengals can do offensively. And that was a very positive matchup for the Bengals last week. The Ravens were so shorthanded in the secondary. They're a team that relies on blitz. So they're already pulling guys out of coverage so that they can send them. And, they just weakness upon weakness, like it became amplified, and not taking nothing away from Joe Burrow. These receivers are nasty too. This is, maybe the best 3 receiver set in the NFL. It's certainly top 5. And if they for some reason struggle in the passing game at all, I think that Joe Mixon could have a big day too. I think we're going to see a lot of ball movement in this game. 52 is not a lot. I have not looked at the weather, honestly. I start doing that later today. So I don't know if that's a factor, but I haven't seen any line movement. Like this has been at 51, I think, pretty much all week. So there has not been any weather-induced line movement.
Looks like about 40 degrees with a chance of rain.
Okay, that's fine. So yeah, I think that both of these teams are going to be able to move the ball offensively, and we can get 28-24.
Yeah, I'm curious to talk about this on Friday. We'll definitely spend more time on this Friday. My take was kind of that it's not that great of a matchup for Jamar Chase and T. Higgins in this spot against the way Kansas City's been playing against wide receivers, but that's more of a DFS conversation. Certainly think that the game could easily get back and forth and get going, obviously. Speaking of wide receiver matchups, Dallas, I think, I know Cardinals secondary was playing well earlier in the year. I mean, Dallas's wide receivers, just from like a talent perspective, going back to that earlier bet from Mark, Dallas's wide receivers against Cardinals secondary. I mean, my God, major talent discrepancy there. All right. For my last 2,000 star gold lock of the week, I'm going to go ahead and grab the points on the Baltimore Ravens. And I know that it's been so bad lately for them with their secondary. I get that. 4.5 points at home to a Rams team who something feels off with me with the Rams lately. And maybe I'm just tilted because I had Matthew Stafford and Cash last week. But I don't know, man. Something feels off to me. And going to Baltimore, who needs this game badly, unlike the Eagles football team game, this is going to be a raucous Ravens-centric crowd, obviously, outside, not where I think Matthew Stafford prefers to play. You can get some 4s and 4.5 still out there. I think Tyler Huntley's going to end up starting this game, which no doubt is worse than Lamar, but I do think Tyler Huntley gives them a bigger ceiling than Josh Johnson does, and kind of a now or never spot for the Ravens. And so to get 4.5 at home on the Ravens here, I think makes a lot of sense. So you guys know me. I love the home doggies. I had to find one here, and it's going to be the Ravens for me.
Adam, man, I didn't know that you had Stafford and Cash last week. It must have been a rough week for you.
Oh, God. Yep. All right. That's going to do it for this week 17 betting show. I appreciate y'all being here. If you're watching on YouTube, do us a favor, hit the subscribe button so you are notified anytime we go live. Helps us out a lot. For Evan, for Mark, for producer Adam, I am Adam. Good luck, everybody.